action.
Hello everyone, my name is Grant Gordon, and I'm going to be teaching some music theory. Specifically, I am interested in teaching the difference between major and minor chords. And at the end of today, with hope, you will be able to identify the difference between those chords, both by sight, in terms of seeing up on my makeshift keyboard right here, and also by sound, which is the main one I'm really interested in. So by the end of this 5 to 10 minutes, you'll hopefully be able to know those differences. And I'm very passionate about this specifically because music is something everybody usually has some sort of idea of, but obviously we all have different knowledge, different genre preferences. But music is something that helps people really communicate, specifically with one another, and what goes often unnoticed is with yourself. Music is kind of an avenue to being able to connect with your own emotions and helps you sort of communicate intrinsically with yourself, with your past, with your expression, with your, in many cases, with your dreams, with your future. So just by being able to identify the difference between a major and minor chord and what kind of emotion something as simple as that can evoke in you, you can begin to understand why certain pieces of music feel the way they do to you. And maybe one day even maybe compose or arrange something of your own. But first I want to do this visually so you actually see what major and minor chords actually look like. And unfortunately they didn't let me bring a grand piano on the plane with me, so this is what we're going to use. So I'm going to keep this very simple. We're not going to go over which note is what. This is really going to be accessible no matter what your background is in music. I'm going to keep it very simple and very concrete as best as I can. So when you look at a series of keys, we need to understand what a half step is. And what a half step is, and I'll write this on the board. Can everybody see the green marker okay? Yep. And everybody can see the keyboard okay, correct? Yep. Okay. So a half step is literally the distance between the two most closely related notes on a keyboard. So a half step would be this note to this note. Another half step would be this note to this note. Another half step, this note to this note, and so forth. Obviously there are some keys where there's no middle black key, brown on the board, but no middle black key. So that means the half step would be this note to this note. No tricks. It's literally the next note that comes. That's what a half step is. Does that make sense to everybody? Mm-hmm. So major and minor chords, we're going to be talking about a chord that consists of 3 notes, which is what you can call a triad. But for the sake of simplicity, let's just call it a chord. And a chord has 3 notes in it. So it could be any 3 notes on the board, and it would be a chord. But if it's a major chord, that consists of 3 notes that are separated. I'll write this up here. A major chord is 3 notes divided by 4 half steps, followed by 3 half steps. So practically what that means is, if this was the note we decided to start on, let's count together. So go 4 half steps up. Let's count. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would be the next note. And then let's count again. What's next? 3 half steps. So do the same thing from this note.
1, 2, 3.
There you go. That's a major chord. Literally that simple. You're just building a major chord for, you pick a note anywhere, and if you build a major chord from that, 4 half steps up, 3 half steps up, there's your major triad, or major chord. And what that sounds like, and I'll play also on my makeshift, not grand piano I brought with me, I will play for you what that chord would sound like. Those are those 3 notes, and together they would sound like this. Which is, that's like every piece of music you hear, right? Just very simple, nice to hear. And we'll come back to the emotion in that in a second, but now let's talk about a minor chord and how it's different. A minor chord is almost the same but it's 3 half steps followed by 3 half steps. No, that's a lie. Just kidding. Followed by 4 half steps. I was about to teach you about a different kind of chord, but we're not going to go into that. Sorry about that. So let's do the same thing here. So now I'm going to get rid of the green, and we'll do a minor chord. So let's say we start at the same note. So let's count together 3 half steps.
1, 2, 3.
And now let's do 4 half steps from that.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That is a minor chord. Now it looks different, not too much different. Only one note has changed, right? The other 2 notes are the exact same. But listen to how different it sounds. This is what we had before. This is what we have now. Do you hear the difference?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just that note used to be that one in major, it's that in minor. Only difference. Do you see so do you understand visually what notes are different?
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm curious, emotionally, when you hear those, when you hear this, what kind of affective responses do you have to that? Like what emotions come to mind?
Nostalgia?
Nostalgia?
And longing.
Longing?
Yeah, like Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera.
In
Yeah,
emotion.
Phantom of the Opera is in a minor key. We're not going to go too much into keys, but Phantom of the Opera is a song built on a minor triad.
It's something coming, I feel like. So like that musical
Suspense?
before, yes.
Yeah, it's like suspense and maybe a little bit of anticipation.
Yes.
Is there like any dread with it? Like you don't know what's coming and it might be bad?
Yes.
Yeah. Does anybody else connect with that?
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody have any like sadness with it?
I kind of felt melancholy, like it was, yeah.
A little melancholy. Okay. So that's good to know. Now what about this one? Going back to our major chord. What do you feel with that?
I kind of feel the same anticipation, but with more expectation.
Okay.
Maybe like I'm walking down the aisle, as opposed to fencing on.
Good. So the anticipation is there, which actually musically is a really great thing to notice because music is all about anticipation and where the progression of chords will go. So there's actually a really great ear to be able to like notice where is this going. But the feel that you have from it is that you expect something maybe good to happen, as opposed to maybe not so much with the minor chord. Oh. Any other feelings that come up? Yeah.
Like completion, like aha.
Yeah, yeah, like aha, completion, finality, like it's and resolve.
Yes, resolved.
Perfect.
Yeah, and going off that kind of like pride, and like also hope, like a little bit of, oh, things are gonna be okay.
Perfect, thank you. Any other feelings? Okay, so I'm just going to do one more thing here so you can kind of feel these differences. To sum up what I've heard, I've essentially heard minor chord, a little bit more suspenseful, maybe a little melancholy, sadness, kind of negative anticipation. Maybe if you were to put it into like a good or bad category, more erring on the side of not so great. And then major, happier, pride, resolve, and completion, and anticipation of good. So let's see if you can hear that, thinking about those emotions it evokes in you, without knowing anything about music theory except for this. Let's see if you can, just by ear, identify a major chord from a minor chord. So I'm just going to play some random chords, and you guys tell me what you think. Sound good? And don't need to raise your hand, just kind of go for it. So first, let's do this one.
Major.
Major. What made you think major? Uplifting. Okay. Now, what about this one? Minor. Why?
More dramatic. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a drama to it. That's the first time I've heard that. But some people say that minor has some drama. How about this one?
Minor.
What do you guys think?
Major.
Major.
Raise your hand if you think minor. Okay, raise your hand if you think major. Yeah, so this one's a little tricky. This one's minor. And part of why it's a little harder is because we totally switched keys where it's not familiar. And it's high, and it sounds kind of bright. But if we were to make a more of a built-up chord with it, hear the difference between if we started on that note, the fifth note was that one. If it was major, it would sound like this. That's the major form. That's the minor form.
Yeah.
So just for, since obviously some of you are able to kind of just identify it pretty quickly, and obviously if I had a keyboard I can do some stuff a little more quickly, we can do a few more actual rounds. But just to really emphasize how much major and minor makes a difference in terms of like a song, I'm going to play a really funny YouTube video. We're just going to listen to maybe 1 or 2 minutes of it and then we'll go ahead and be done. This was kind of viral, so maybe some of you have heard this before. But this is a video that takes popular songs that most of you may know and switches them to the opposite key. So like a song that you know that's usually super happy and confident and major, you're going to hear it in minor and be like, damn, that is depressing. Or you might hear something that's normally in minor and has a lot of drama to it, and suddenly it sounds like super happy-go-lucky. It doesn't feel right. So just to kind of emphasize how this one little difference completely shifts your emotional response to a song.
What if you change key of popular sad song? Will it happy? What about happy song? Will it sad? Let's see.
This is happy by Pharrell.
That's funny.
Dark Horse by Katy Perry. This is traditionally in minor, but they're playing it in major for fun of it.
Are you ready for a perfect storm, perfect storm? 'Cause once your mind, once your mind, there's no going back.
We'll listen to one more.
Love your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me. Okay, fly.
So originally in major, now in minor. So again, the take-home point here is everybody can learn music. And everybody, whether or not you have a background in it, you can hear such subtle differences as one note and have a completely different emotional reaction to a song. And also be able to tell. All of you know some music. That's all.